as she lay on the operating room table, staring up at the ceiling, wondering how her life had arrived at this point, she remembered something vitally important. It wasn't anything about the fact that her leg was about to be amputated from just below her knee down, and it wasn't about the fact that she had spent the last 6 weeks in various hospitals and treatment facilities in an attempt to heal her infection before amputation was necessary. Rather, it was something much more important, something that she had forgot to say earlier, but needed to be said before she was put under by anesthetics. Did anyone remember to feed my cat? My grandmother, Nancy Burris, is the most selfless person I know. For my entire life, she has provided an example for myself and my other family members of a strong moral figure who shows selfless compassion for others in everything she does. The same woman who cared more about her cat being fed than her leg being amputated, raised 3 children with little help from a husband, and instilled wisdom in 4 grandchildren that will surely last a lifetime. My dad's mother was always grandma, so growing up we needed a different name for my mom's mom. And instead of resorting to the old played-out mum-mum, we called her something different. My sister and I called her Nanny, short for her name Nancy, but also fairly appropriate for the capacity we typically saw her in. According to my mother, Nan was the only one that could babysit us. Partly because she was the most trustworthy, and partly because she would drop anything she was doing to come watch us children. She was our favorite babysitter, as she would watch sports with me while playing with dolls and my sister at the same time. Her babysitting days also spawned the origin of her other nickname, Treat Lady. She always brought some sugar-filled snacks for us unbeknownst to my mother, and always lied on our behalf when asked if we ate our vegetables. As my sister Madison recalls, I remember one time I ate nothing but cake for a whole weekend, but Nana told Mom she made us eat Brussels sprouts, and then called us into the kitchen so she could give us a Reese's before she left. Growing up for Nan's children was vastly different, though. She gave birth to my mother at age 20, and to my Aunt Tanya 2 years before at age 18. Her husband at the time, Roy Ferens, was an abusive alcoholic philanderer who was rarely home. So Nan worked 2 or 3 jobs at a time, just so she could provide for her children. As Tanya remembers, there were times when a few days passed without seeing our mom, but we always had food on the table in the morning and at night, and our clothes were always laid out for school every morning. Nan ran a tight ship, and it was often a my way or the highway type approach for her parenting. Growing up in the 40s and 50s, she was very black and white when it came to what was right and what was wrong. Oftentimes, the only reason given for decisions was because I'm your mother, or because I said so, according to my Uncle Jason. But all of her decisions were made with her children's best interest at heart. The most important thing in the world to Nan is her family. She may have worked a lot, but anytime there was a family need, she was the first one there. She's been to every sporting event, performance, and presentation I've ever done, with the exception of one Little League game she missed, but she called me beforehand sobbing and apologized for not being able to come. The holidays especially are her favorite, and getting the entire crew together for celebrations is not only encouraged, but required. Every Thanksgiving, she wakes up at 8 a.m. to make food and is in the kitchen all day, singing and cooking, smiling ear to ear. And every Christmas, she's the one who wakes everyone up way earlier than we want to be awake, just so she can give us our presents. I've been woken up by Nan on all 21 of my Christmas mornings so far, and cannot even imagine a Christmas morning without her. If you think that's impressive, my mother's been woken up on Christmas morning by Nan 51 years in a row, and Aunt Tanya for 53. For all of Nan's selfishness, she often neglects to take care of herself. She's overweight, diabetic, has high cholesterol, and a bad hip. She's been in the hospital more times than I can count over the course of my 22 years, but never once complains or makes others feel sorry for her. On October 17th of this year, she was babysitting my cousins, who are 3 and 4 months old. Here's the 4-month-old. When the cat ran under her legs as she was walking down the steps. She stumbled and broke her leg. Being a 71-year-old overweight woman with a broken leg all alone is certainly not a good combination. But she somehow managed to crawl on the floor to the phone to call for help. She was rushed to the hospital for treatment and had a plate and screws put in her leg. But due to poor blood flow in her legs, the injury was infected. After bypass surgery to improve blood flow proved to be unsuccessful, the only solution was amputation. On November 23rd, last Monday, her leg was amputated below the knee, which means she spent her favorite holiday of Thanksgiving in the hospital with one leg. As she recalls the day she broke her leg, she says, "I remember the first thing I thought of was, thank God the baby was sleeping, and thank God my fat ass falling down didn't wake him up." The second thing she thought of was, now how the hell am I supposed to eat this sandwich I just made? She'll have to learn to walk with a prosthetic leg, but the most important thing for her is that she'll be home for Christmas. It's unfortunate what happened to my nanny, and it's especially sad that such a terrible thing has happened to such a loving, selfless person. She's my hero, and I know she's my sister's as well. I continue to learn things from her every day. She would literally give anything for anyone, and while it's unfortunate it turned out to be her leg, the treat lady lives on, teaching us how to be better people, how to love our family, and how to sneak a Reese's in during dinner.